one.
The Department of Justice releasing its remaining documents from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche saying the records will be posted throughout the day. Some of the material so explicit, you have to verify being an adult before you can actually access it.
Today we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. In total, that means that the department produced approximately 3.5 million pages in compliance with the Act. They include large quantities of commercial pornography and images that were seized from Epstein's devices.
I'm not going to live in fear, and I'm going to continue to fight for justice.
Attorney Gloria Allred represents 27 victims of child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. One of them, this young woman, who says she was raped by Epstein at one of his mansions when she was 15.
Epstein took my sexual innocence in front of a wall of framed photographs of him shaking hands and smiling with celebrities and political leaders.
She is one of the many girls and young women sexually assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein at his various residences in the U.S. and abroad, according to U.S. Justice Department documents.
When I first became involved, I was horrified by what appeared to be yet another case of a rich, powerful, famous man who was abusing his power against women and girls, underage girls, in other words, children, who were very vulnerable. Some of them were vulnerable because they came from homes where there was only a single parent, families who had serious financial problems. In other words, they were living in poverty.
Many of Epstein's survivors have been publicly pushing for years to have these documents come out, but it took a law passed with near unanimous support in Congress to finally bring these documents to light.
In Epstein's case, Gloria Allred says the U.S. Justice Department failed to act when victims reported abuse at his Palm Beach mansion in the mid-2000s. Instead, in 2008, Epstein pleaded guilty in Florida to a lesser charge of soliciting prostitution from a minor.
Entered into what has become known as a sweetheart deal, where he entered a plea of guilty. He was sentenced to 13 months in state custody, in jail. He could leave every day and work in his office, where we now know he went not just to work, but he sexually abused girls in his office.
Like literally returned to the scene of the crime.
Literally returned to the scene of his crime and continued to commit crimes while he was serving his sentence. He only had to sleep in jail at night. So that was a sweetheart deal, indefensible as far as I'm concerned.
The federal government finally arrested Epstein in 2019, but justice for his victims was cut short when he was found dead in his jail cell.
He suddenly was found dead in his cell. Either he committed suicide or was a victim of homicide.
What do you believe?
I can't rule out homicide based on what I've heard and what I've seen.
Care to share any details?
No. There are just too many unanswered questions.
I'm a career prosecutor, and despite what the ranking member said, I have spent my entire career fighting for victims, and I will continue to do so. I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through, especially as a result of that monster.
Recently released documents and photos about Epstein's circle redact the names of many famous men. But Allred says the victims' identities are often revealed, even though the government had promised to keep them private.
They showed the victims' names in many cases, showed their photos, showed, in some cases, naked photos of victims, some of whom may have been teenage girls. Showed identifying information, driver's licenses, passports, telephone numbers, emails, this double standard of exposing the women, humiliating the women, shaming the women who are the victims, and protecting the powerful, rich, famous men, it's wrong.
Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no
President
evidence.
Trump.
Allred is concerned the U.S. Justice Department may permanently withhold the names of many powerful men in Epstein's circle who may have committed crimes like him.
Some, for example, of the president, we know that he at one time was, Jeffrey Epstein said it was his best friend for what, 10 or 15 years. But at some point that relationship ended. Allegedly there are like 1,000 or more references to the president before he was president. Some of his name, the names and some of the documents that were talking about him, his name was redacted numerous times. We don't know why.
Will we ever?
I don't know. But yet there's some places where his name is there. So I'm not saying he committed any crime. I wouldn't accuse anybody of a crime if I didn't have sufficient evidence, then I don't know. But I'm saying that's an example.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
Allred says the U.S. Justice Department often overlooks the crimes of wealthy, powerful men, while economically disadvantaged people often receive little justice. Recent deaths of Minneapolis residents Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy, both shot and killed by federal immigration enforcement agents, have intensified concerns about accountability and fairness.
Well, I think there were murders. There were executions. They were denied their rights. And these are what we call state actors. In other words, ICE is an arm of the state. It's become like a private army or military for the president. We've never seen anything like this in the United States.
She says the ICE raids and deportation of thousands of immigrants in the U.S. have had a deeply troubling impact on communities.
So many millions of people who came to the United States was undocumented, never committed a crime. Maybe that generation was even the hardest working generation we've ever seen. People who came to what they thought was the land of opportunity, and they just wanted a better life for their children and for their families themselves. Just to, randomly pick them up and deport them to some other country they've never been in, maybe to a life in prison when they've done nothing wrong except to exist and work hard. It's just outrageous what's going on out there. We have to fight to change it.
This former ICE detainee, a Vietnamese immigrant named Paul Sok, spent several months in an ICE detention facility.
In terms of ICE, I've been in cells just like this. There was about 30 of us crammed in a place no bigger than this.
According to the U.S. government, there are about 200 of these facilities across the country. Most are run by private, for-profit prison corporations that collectively earn several $billion each year.
Prisons are literally making billions.
And prisons are making billions. That's crazy amounts of money. The private prison contracts, just for immigration detention, it was like $6 billion a year. We shouldn't be profiting off of people's struggles. It's definitely not the greatest country on earth in that respect on how people are treated when they're just trying to find safety and well-being.
Caroline.
The president has told the Attorney General and the FBI director to release any credible evidence that they find, and he also signaled to them over the weekend to move forward with unsealing the grand jury documents that were under seal by various judges across the country, and I believe the Attorney General has taken the proper legal action to do that. Kelly.
Allred says meaningful change is unlikely as long as the justice system continues to favor the wealthy and powerful, while many everyday citizens face greater obstacles.
Here's the bottom line. For the most part, survivors have no confidence left in the Department of Justice. I call it the Department of Injustice. They can't trust them. And this has an impact far beyond these victims, these survivors. Because if this is the way victims are going to be treated or mistreated by the United States Department of Justice, why would other victims of other sexual predators ever come forward and agree to testify in a criminal case? They can't have trust, they can't have confidence in the Department of Justice. So this is like a license to continue to sexually prey on children, sex traffic them, because if victims will not, have confidence in the Department of Justice, then that's a license for the predators to just run free and continue to prey on children and adult females. This is wrong, it's harmful, sets a bad example, there's no justification for it. I always try to engender confidence in my clients, in the justice system, that if they work hard and do what they're asked to do, that there can be possibly a form of justice. I can't say that anymore about the United States Department of Justice. Their trust has been betrayed.